Kevin Kimmel, Yamaha Commercial Audio. Thought I'd give you a quick tour of the new CL series console. This is the CL5. So this channel, this console is 72 mixable channels. It has 24 mix outputs, selectable here, and 8 matrix outs. You can plus the stereo and mono. This is the default mono or master section. You've got so you can take inputs directly to matrix outputs. So this is a 35 bus console. You've got the selected channel as typical on Yamaha digital consoles, and we're using the central logic system like you have on the M7. We've pulled features from 5D to DM2000, LS9. We've got 2-track record and playback, certainly the central logic from M7. So a lot of things that will make users be very comfortable right when they first sit down at this. There's 8 colors that you can assign to the channels. They read very well on the outside. There's a programmable name bar as well. There's a color bar, then there's the naming plate, which allows you to go in and do 8 digits for the name. It gives you other information. It gives you fader value. It'll tell you what mix your encoder is, depending on the mode of the coder. It'll tell you could tell you your pan, tell you the channel name. So that's and that reads very well outside as well. There's channel encoders for every channel. There's 16 DCAs. There are 16 user-defined keys and 4 user-defined knobs. So, for example, I think this one is set up, this bottom one here is set up for touch and turn. So on the screen, whatever is highlighted is that button. So if I were doing this two-handed, imagine how quickly I could just go around and make changes without having to open up other screens. There are 3 main fader banks on the CL5. The 16 faders on the left is A, the central logic section is custom bank B, and then C on the right, and there's also the master section. So there's 2 customizable fader banks that you can do in A, 1 in B, and 6 in C. But you can make these your money channel. They don't have to be your master. So you have actually 2 money channels right here. You can flip your faders to death on throughout the rest of the console. Always have your hand on the money. The encoder for each channel serves multi-functions. It's gain, it could be pan, and in the assign mode it can be a number of things, but most typically would probably be a mix. What monitor mix or what send do you want it to be? So it's whatever you select last, and it will tell you in the window in fine print up here, but it'll also tell you in the window on each channel when you're in the assign mode. You can also, as a preference, go in and tell it to be a certain mix. Maybe mix 4 is your star or your money mix. So you always have your hand they always have the money mix at hand as well, along with the 2 input money channels. So a couple things that are really cool about this console. Let's get into the rack system. There's 3 primary racks for this part of my demo anyway. There's 16 graphic EQs. What you can split those into the Flex 15 EQs, so you could have 32 graphic EQs. The effects rack is an 8U unit. If we go in and look at the devices, we've shuffled the deck. They've been given a new look from what we've had in the past. We've moved things. Some of the RevX are very, very popular. We've moved them to the front of the list. We've separated the dynamics and EQ from the effects, and these are all VCM devices down here. For those that aren't familiar with VCM, it's virtual circuitry modeling. So let's take this device. This is a Open Deck is a tape saturation device, for example. These devices have been around for a while in many of the consoles. If you want to warm up your mix or add an interesting sound to, let's say, your drums, insert this over a fixed mix or a subgroup with your drums that go to it, and you basically it's like taking it's like aligning a 24-track machine in days gone by. You can select what vintage machine you want. You can go in and adjust your repro and your bias, what tape speed you want, 15 IPS or 30 IPS, and run your drums through that and watch how fat they get. It's really great. So we've also gone in and redone the templates, the starting points for these effects. So everything in the library has a new starting place. So we feel that out of the box, they're more user-friendly than what they were before. Yeah, the next rack is the premium rack. So this is a pretty fabulous section of the console. This is where you can really add a whole nother set of color and warmth to your mix. So there's 6 different devices you can pull from. So there's already something assigned here. Let's just go take a look at it. We've got Rupert Neve, Portico 5033 5-band EQ. So with Assist on, you get these numbers that tell you what encoder it is. It also tells you across the bottom, but it's helpful here because there's just so many encoders, there's so many knobs here, it's going to be useful to have that. We have transformer emulation, so a big part of Rupert's sound, of course, is his sounds, the sound of his transformers. So you could bypass the EQ here and still get his transformer emulation. It's a big part of why we have the Rupert Neve stuff, is because we were able to do such a spectacular job of that. Rupert told me himself that he cannot tell the difference between our VCM device, our emulations of his devices compared to his boxes directly. So all of these units can be dual mono or stereo. So you can have 16 instances of devices here in this rack. Here's his Portico 5043 compressor. I'll just run through these real quick to give you an idea of some of the devices that are in here. All the metering works on these guys when they're in action. This is the EQ1A. So these just sound so great. You got to check them out. You can do all kinds of. Well, I already took a look at that. This might look familiar to some people, and you have the option of going and pushing in all 4 buttons on this, like on the original. And so those are all emulations of vintage pieces of gear. But we also have our dynamic EQ. Let me insert this over a vocal track. So see if we can get I'm not sure if the music's playing right now or not. Yep. So you can go in and you want to get rid of some popping P's or some extra sibilants. You have a lot of adjustments you can make here. Let's see if so the GUI is very telling and helpful. It's easy to use and it sounds great. It's one of these VCM effects that our team in Japan came up with, and this is a spectacular device I think people are going to want more of. So that's the premium rack. This is where you get a lot of the richness and the musical qualities of this console. This is a Dante-based system, so there's here's the I/O rack. So this represents, you see 8 racks pop up here. So here's where the Rio boxes would show up. The ones that are not plugged in or yellow, they're virtual. You can open them up and get in and look at your head amps, and you can do high-pass filtering inside the I/O box if you like. You can still do it in the EQ, but if you are not sure, you think that you hear a high-pass filter, you're not sure, there's a visual here in this section where you can see it. The Dante network for CL supports, you can have 4 consoles, and this is where you choose which console you are. So you can have 4 consoles on the network. Each console can control up to 8 of the Rio boxes. The Dante network will run in daisy chain or redundant. It also supports 32-bit, and that's where you would select that. The latency for the console is fixed, but you may, if you have a lot of devices on the network, want to increase the latency of the network itself for efficiency. If you have a system with a lot of boxes, you may have some troubleshooting to do, and you can ping the box. So if I want to identify the box for my A2, by me pressing and holding it, lights up every LED on the Rio. So you also can ping an individual channel. So if you're trying to troubleshoot, you can say, no, I think it's this. Please, where are you? This is the hole that I think you should be plugged in. You can ping individual channels for troubleshooting. Say, no, really, I think it should be plugged in here. Where are you? So you can have mute groups as you know them, but you also they can be dimmers. So maybe you just want to have everything go down -3, -6, -12. You can assign that to a user-defined key, and you need a big ducker. Effectively, you've got it there. So it doesn't have to be a hard mute like in the past. There's channel link has been optimized as well. You can do it on the channels themselves by pressing and holding the select button, or you can do it here, and it'll show you the various banks. You can have up to 26 different link groups, each with their own set of link parameters. Another innovation that we've got coming up this summer will be Nuendo Live. So Nuendo Live is an optimized version of Nuendo that will allow for 64 channels of input, 64 channels of output right on the network. There'll be a user interface, or on the user interface on the touch screen, we'll have transport control. The names and colors of the channels will transfer over to the Nuendo tracks, and as you're doing your show and recalling scenes, it'll put markers on the track. So when you want to do virtual sound check tomorrow, you can easily get to the top of your tunes. We also have 2-track playback and record on a USB thumb drive that is MP3s. The Nuendo Live records WAV files, so you'll be able to take the files to any studio and edit them and play them back in any system you like. So there's a quick overview of the CL5 console from Yamaha Commercial Audio. We'll see this on the streets before summer.